The floor of the ocean is divided into three broad zones. These zones can be identified on this map and profile of the North Atlantic. Two main types of continental margins are recognized: passive and active. Passive continental margins are found along most of the coastal areas that surround the Atlantic Ocean. Passive margins experience very little volcanic activity and few earthquakes. Here, weathered materials eroded from the adjacent landmass accumulate to form a thick, broad wedge of relatively undisturbed sediments. A passive continental margin includes the continental shelf. This gently sloping submerged surface is considered a flooded extension of the continent. The continental shelf can vary greatly in width. For example, compare the shelf of West Africa to the shelf of Florida. Marking the seaward edge of the continental shelf is the continental slope, a relatively steep and narrow zone as compared with the shelf. The steep continental slope merges into a more gradual incline known as the continental rise. The continental rise is characterized by deep sea fans, which are thick accumulations of material deposited by muddy turbidity currents. Turbidity currents are downslope movements of dense, sediment-laden water. They are created when sand and mud are dislodged and thrown into suspension. The continental slope and rise also exhibit deep, steep-sided valleys known as submarine canyons. Before moving on to other ocean floor features, let's take one more look at a passive continental margin from a different perspective. On the deep ocean floor adjacent to the continental rise are very flat regions known as abyssal plains. Abyssal plains are very flat because layer upon layer of sediments have buried the otherwise rugged ocean floor. Along some mountainous coasts, the continental slope descends abruptly into a deep ocean trench that parallels the landmass. The Peru-Chile Trench is one example. Such a situation is associated with active continental margins. Here, slabs of ocean floor descend into the mantle. Deep ocean trenches are long, narrow troughs that are the deepest parts of the ocean basin floor. Parts of the ocean basin floor also have many steep-sided volcanic peaks called seamounts. The mid-ocean ridge system is a broad, rugged, elevated feature that forms a continuous belt that winds around the globe. The interconnected ocean ridge system is the longest topographic feature on Earth's surface, exceeding 70,000 kilometers in length. In many areas, the summit of the mid-ocean ridge exhibits a deep, narrow valley called a rift valley. Mid-ocean ridges are associated with much heat and volcanic activity. Move labels below the diagram to the appropriate spaces on the diagram. This is a profile of the Atlantic Ocean floor from the New England coast across the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Label each arrow with the proper term. Move each label to the appropriate oceanic ridge on the map. Move each label to the appropriate ocean trench on the map.